If one word can trigger you, who really owns your mind? You say you're in control, but your mood shifts with a comment. Your tone changes with a look. Your energy drains with one sentence you didn't like. You think you're calm, but you check your phone to see who replied. You replay conversations. You plan what you'll say next time, just to win a point no one's keeping score of. This isn't control, it's reaction. It's being led by things outside of you. And the worst part? You've called it strength. You speak louder when you feel threatened. You interrupt to be right. You defend yourself before you're even attacked. But control isn't loud. It's not reactive. And the more you react, the less you own. You think you're responding, but you're being pulled by a tone, a glance, a pause in someone else's voice. This is emotional hijacking, where your nervous system fires before your logic does. You feel heat in your chest. You want to speak, move, fight, fix. But none of that came from you. It came from outside, because your emotions don't start from truth. They start from triggers. This is what psychologists call an external locus of control, where your state depends on everything but you. You lose power, not in arguments, but in how fast you need to answer. You need to be understood. You need to explain. You need to be right. That need is a leash. If someone can shift your mood with a sentence, you're not in control. You're being steered. If they can pull your strings, you don't own yourself. It feels normal. Getting frustrated in traffic, snapping when someone speaks over you, needing to make your point, even when no one asked. You tell yourself it's just stress, but every reaction is a small leak, not of energy, of presence. You interrupt to feel heard. You raise your voice to feel strong. You check your phone to feel needed. None of it works. Power isn't loud, ego is. And most men confuse the two. You walk into a room and start performing. You adjust your posture, your tone, your words. Not for clarity, but for control. But power doesn't perform. It doesn't chase attention. It holds weight without effort. Every time you react, you trade depth for noise. You think you're being strong, but what people feel is scattered energy. Presence fades, respect fades, and you never notice, because you were too busy reacting. He wasn't loud, but he never let things go. Every conversation had to end on his terms. Every disagreement had to be explained, justified, closed. He needed to be understood, always. He couldn't sit in silence. He couldn't let someone be wrong. He'd replay arguments in his head, crafting better lines for a fight that was already over. He lost nothing all at once. Just slowly, trust faded, respect wore down, and people stopped feeling safe around him. Not because he was harsh, but because he was always on edge, always proving, defending, reacting. He thought it made him strong, but it only made him heavy. Hard to be near, hard to love. He was never still, and it cost him everything stillness brings. You've seen him. You've felt him. Maybe you are him. Real strength isn't explosive. It's still. It's the ability to feel everything, and still choose nothing. When someone disrespects you and you don't flinch, when you're insulted and you don't explain, that's control. This is emotional detachment, not coldness, not numbness, but freedom. Freedom from being pulled by every word, every look, every mood in the room. Most men obey their emotions, but mastery is in watching them and doing nothing. You observe without obeying. You withhold the response, not because you're weak, but because you've already won. It's not about silence, it's about ownership. Owning your mind, your mood, your moment. Anyone can yell, anyone can defend, but few can sit in discomfort and not move. That's presence, that's weight, that's power. Power isn't in your voice, it's in your control over your voice. Start with the pause. Someone says something that stings. Don't speak. Feel it rise, then let it fall. Practice silence. Let them finish their sentence. Don't cut in, don't correct. Breathe before you answer. Count 1 or 2, then speak, if you even need to. You don't justify. You don't explain things that don't need explaining. You sit with the discomfort. Let it pass through without grabbing it. This is non-reactive discipline. It's not about looking calm. It's about being untouchable. You don't owe the world your reactions. You don't have to prove you're calm. You live it, quietly. The more invisible your control is, the more people feel it. They notice your pause. They feel your weight. Not in words, in presence. You train it every day, in traffic, in conversations. In moments where your old self would have cracked, now you hold, and that's the difference. How many times have you leaked power this week? Think about it. The sighs, the eye rolls, the quick replies you couldn't hold back, each one a leak. Now picture a man who walks into the room and doesn't react. He doesn't need to. He hears everything, but speaks only when it's time. He's not avoiding, he's not scared, he's just still. You feel him before he says a word, and when he does speak, you listen. That's power. It's not loud, it's not busy, it's quiet. If you still react, you're not in control. Your emotions are. If you're done bleeding power in public, stay close. We don't react. We build in silence. They won't see it now, but they will.